Welcome to Visione TV International. Today, I'm so proud to introduce to you one very special guest. His name is Joe Pags. You already had a chance to meet him once. He's the award-winning journalist in the United States and also the host of the Joe Pags Show and the new podcast I was so proud to be a guest of, which name is Unshaken and Unafraid. Check it out. But Joe Pags has a history of a wonderful guests, including starting from our President Donald Trump, Lara Trump, his entire family, Kash Patel, and all the people of the current administration. So if there is anyone you want to listen to know what's really going on in the United States, this is Joe. Joe, thanks so much for joining the show.
I love being on the show. Simona, thank you.
Thank you, Joe. So we have been here in Europe, in the European continent. We had a lot of headlines made by Donald Trump in Scotland about this agreement, this tariff agreement, trade agreement. And, many people here are shaken and afraid, not unafraid, because of this, finally, the art of the deal in full display between a giant like Donald Trump and a minion like Ursula von der Leyen. So how the Americans sees European leadership after these deals, and what does it mean for you?
Well, I think the really good thing about it is that it's going to put pressure on Russia. I think that's really, really important, Simona, because if the EU is buying liquefied natural gas from Russia, they're helping Russia fight against somebody else who's in Europe. It doesn't make any sense. So you have to cut those ties off. Now, President Trump, the first time, as you know, had an LNG deal with the EU. He basically said, why would I protect you from a guy that you're enriching by buying his fuel? So he had the deal in place. But as you also know, in the Biden administration, they shut off the terminals and they stopped sending the liquefied natural gas. So President Trump said, we're going to have to make a better deal than that. And I think the pressure that he brought to make sure they stop buying this fuel from Russia is going to end up seeing peace in Europe a whole lot sooner. I also like the fact that it's 15% across the board. It could have been 30% starting August 1st if they didn't come to a deal. I like that it's 15%. I'm not a huge fan of tariffs. I don't know if you are. You and I have talked about this before. I'm not a huge fan of it. But I understand the leverage play. You can't take advantage of the United States. You can't have the United States prop up NATO and you not pay your fair share. This time you've got a president that's strong, that says, you want us to protect you? You want us to be your friends? Be friends of ours too. And I think the 15% is pretty fair.
Thank you. That's actually, an excellent way to explain, mostly to Europeans, that what tariffs means. I mean, we're creating an alliance between the United States and European continent, and at the same time, never happened before reciprocity. European Union were applying heavy tariffs on imports from the United States. So that's something else that people don't understand. But, overall, the image of Ursula von der Leyen was weak, her messaging was wrong, and she didn't explain, as you did, what really happened that day in Scotland. So what do you think about European leadership right now?
Well, I think it's interesting. I think that it has a chance to be strong. It's not right now. You and I have talked about Giorgia Meloni a lot in Italy, and I wonder why she says some things and then does different things. She says she's going to be very strong in illegal immigration, and then she's not very strong in illegal immigration. She's going to sink all the boats, but the boats keep coming from Northern Africa. So I think that what the American people see is a string of promises and no real leadership. And then when the president goes there and they do some golfing in Scotland and they have this big meeting at his golf club, he walks out and he says very nice things. They're very strong. Starmer's very strong in the UK, so on and so forth. I think we came to a good deal, and these people are very strong and very smart, but they knew that they had to come to this deal. He's being very careful, Simona, to make sure that he props them up the proper way and says, these are important people, but you're not going to take advantage of us. So as you know, the people of the United States don't think about the EU anywhere near as much as Europe thinks about the United States. They just don't. But I think they've been awakened to that because the president he went there, got off the plane, had his mind set on making a deal, making sure he beat the deadline of August 1st, which he did. And the deal, I think, is much better for Europe, for the UK, who got 10%, by the way, and for the EU, that got 15%. It could have been 30% or even higher. So it made a lot of sense. But I think you understand what I'm saying, that the United States, the people of the United States, don't walk through their daily lives and think, I wonder what the leader of the EU is thinking today. I don't think they even knew her name before this whole thing happened in Scotland. So if anything, if nothing else, a good education came out of this for the people of the United States. I do information for a living, so do you. So we know these people and these players. But those who watch my show or watch your show or take in what we do, they're not that familiar. I think this was a good learning experience too.
That's absolutely so informing for everyone also on the European continent because, let's talk about the price of
Yeah.
being part of the European Union for the member states. Not only we have all these related issues, giving up sovereignty and, a lot of our policies to the European Union, having in return worse condition when it comes for trade agreements with superpowers like United States. And then, of course, not the perception of strong leadership. Right, you just said it. In America, people don't even know these names. You know
Right.
it because, of course, you're a journalist and
Right.
an anchor. Your job is information, but many people don't even know. You mentioned Giorgia Meloni, but you have also the perception of a gap between what she says and what she does. And Italians are slowly actually waking up to this reality. So when we say like putting our priority first, don't you believe this for America First agenda also means on the other side of the ocean, like reestablishing priorities like industry, flooding investments to the United States? Because, these tariffs, it's also attracting investments to the United States and having finally the gas market redirected toward the United States instead of Russia. So we were talking about superpowers, Russia and China. Did Trump make a power move into shifting this to the Western world? And again,
Well, he did. I mean, he figuratively twisted some arms and said, "You're going to have to invest in the United States. It's not okay for you to play ball with these bad actors that are closer to you. Again, you're enriching them, and then you're taking from us." When it comes to tariffs, and I want to explain this as simply as I can, tariffs, I think, are at least a double play. The one play is you're going to trade fairly with us. You're not going to take advantage of the United States because we have more than you. No, you've got to play fairly with us, and we'll play fairly with you. But the second thing, Simone, and you know this probably better than I do, is bringing manufacturing and investment back to the United States. What happened was, leading into the World War, Second World War, you had a manufacturing economy in the United States. For some reason, it went through, I think, weak leadership. It went to a service-oriented economy where we're not making stuff anymore. We need to start making things again here. So he's incentivizing companies to invest in the United States, hire workers in the United States, make sure those people get the extra money and the extra paycheck. And then if you want to send the profits overseas and do some sharing that way, that's fine. But if you want to build a car here, build it here. If you want to build widgets here, build widgets here. If you want to build washing machines, build washing machines here. And I think that's the second play in the tariffs. If people do come here and make it here, guess what? No tariff because you made it here. It's not being imported. So I think it's a double play. It's a duopoly in his mind. Some say there are three things at play here. I'm not so sure about that. But one, make sure you trade fairly with us. And two, make this stuff here and there's no tariff at all.
and it's really the way it is. But, this is on the macro level, it's a big win. And I believe for both continents.
Yes.
On the daily life of someone like me living in the United States, I wanted to buy my Parmigiano or beautiful bottle of Italian wine. What does that mean? What should I pay for that?
No, it's a good question, but I think that when we have concerns about the prices of goods going up, those concerns, I think, are probably leveled out by the fact that there should be more money in the economy in the United States. They'll employ more American workers so they have more money to buy a higher priced wine if they have to, or a higher priced handbag. I love Italian goods. I'm going to keep on buying Italian goods.
You
And if
are
it costs
Italians, by the way.
exactly,
You are
exactly. Well,
Italian.
I'm an American of Italian descent, Giuseppe Pagliarulo. So, I want to buy Italian stuff and I want to support the country where my grandfather came from. But to do that and pay a little bit more, I'm okay with that as long as Italy is playing fairly with us. And by the way, and you and I have talked personally about this, I am disappointed that Italy and Germany and other independent nations have given up their cultures. Why give up your culture to this conglomeration that we call the EU? The European Union has some leadership that somehow has a priority over, like Giorgia Meloni or whoever, Macron in France. Why can't the individual country keep their individual culture, their individual values, and then do something in conjunction, maybe on the economy or on trade or on something you can share because you're so close? But why did they give up their identity? I've never understood that.
Well, listen to that, people, and try to import some of this great mindset. I think many people are sick and tired of giving up their
Yeah,
identities and sovereignty. And as you said, nothing is irreplaceable. You can have trades, bilateral trades with the, within European Union, but this
absolutely.
structure of European Union is not doing any good. I have worked for the European Union. I am all in for exit, Italy exit. So that's pretty.
I would like to see that. I would be just as distressed if they did Canada, the United States, and Mexico have to become the North American Union. No, we don't want that. We have the USMCA, which is a very good trade deal, a better trade deal than NAFTA was. But there's no way Mexico should give up its culture or values, or that we should, or that Canada should. We should be independent nations that are very proud of our own people, proud of our own heritage, and get along with our neighbors. We didn't have to become our neighbors. That became very strange to me. When I saw what Europe did, because I've been to Italy, and it was before the EU, when I saw what Europe did, I wondered out loud, why? That's going to hurt the economy in countries that were doing better. It's going to help the economies in countries that were doing worse, but you're going to lose your cultural value system and your cultural identity. I never understood that. I hope those who are watching in the place I call my second homeland, Italy, I hope that people watching will understand that I'm frustrated for you because I want it to be Italy first for you. I want it to
And
be
please
America first for me.
follow Joe Pags at Joe Pags on Instagram, on your show, and which is the link to your podcast, Unshaken and Unafraid, right?
You can go to YouTube and look up at Joe Talk Show, at JoeTalkshow, and then you'll see there's a playlist that's called Unshaken and Unafraid, and don't miss the episode with Simona.
Thank you. But I want to keep you here just to discuss some
Please.
culture issue in America that people, I don't think in Italy can possibly understand what's happened with American Eagle, right? You have a beautiful woman like wearing wonderful jeans,
Yeah.
stopping in what she's doing, and this shakes America. What's really going on? I mean, is that insanity? Is that the woke agenda,
Yes.
or is the end of the woke agenda?
The simple answer is it is insanity, and it is the end of the woke agenda. For some reason, clothing companies thought they had to get people that were obese or people that were very diverse, people who were very ethnic, people who were maybe even confused about their gender. And now you've got somebody who's a beautiful young woman. She has blonde hair and blue eyes. Listen, I'm old, so I wasn't very familiar with her before this happened.
I
But
know her.
hopefully this works in translation. In English, we've got the word genes. It can be GENES, which means your genetic background or your ancestry, and it could also be JEANS, which means a pair of blue jeans. So they did wordplay. She starts the commercial out by saying, my genes decided how I look, and I have blonde hair, and I have blue eyes, and my jeans, and then she meant the pants, are blue. She's selling blue jeans, Simona. She's not selling whiteness or brownness or something in between. She's simply saying, these are my jeans. I'm happy with them. And I'm also happy with the jeans that I wear. Like my jeans and your jeans are Italian. And we happen to have, you have blonde hair, I have dark hair, or I used to. I have light eyes, you have light eyes, we have olive skin. And that's okay. You can be proud of who you are. It's not controversial. But because people always want to be able to attack the majority, and the majority in the United States is white, happens to be whatever, they think that it's okay to act like this is somehow white supremacy. And it's not. It's an individual woman who's proud of her heritage and loves her pair of jeans. It's really, really stupid. And it's really kind of annoying, to be honest with you. But I'm glad that you're talking about it because I don't know that people in Europe understand how crazy things are here in the United States culturally.
Thank you for, presenting this insanity to European also as well, because, even in Northern Europe, nobody can possibly relate to that, but it's pushing this agenda too far, dividing people instead than uniting and creating discrimination, right? So you have to be afraid of carrying a certain type of jeans rather than others,
Yes,
where pretty jeans comes in every color and every background, right? So it's just
right.
ridiculous. So thanks so much for joining the show. And,
Yeah, you're very welcome. Well,
and
Sona, can I just say this on that topic because I think this is really important.
oh,
Because you
yes.
asked me the question, is it the end of woke? And you're
Yeah.
so spot on. You are so 100% right. Because American Eagle, the jean company, said, I'm going to use this woman. We're going to stand by the ad. This is the opposite of we saw 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, where everybody was afraid to say anything about all the wokeism going on. I think it's people like you and George and me and American Eagle and President Trump and some leaders in Europe as well who are saying enough is enough. It's
Yes,
okay to be this ancestry. It's okay to believe in this thing. It's okay to pray to Jesus. It's okay to do these things, and we don't have to apologize anymore. So, yes,
absolutely.
I think this is, if not the end of woke, it's certainly the beginning of the end of woke, which is so important.
Thank you. And we look forward to coming back to normalcy, where we
Yes.
don't have to apologize for our background. We don't have to select, certain type of people for commercials. I always say, like, I'm not an athlete. I'm not offended if I'm not selected for Olympics. So,
Right.
right, everybody's different qualities. We shouldn't force them in any field. So.
How dare they not put you in the Olympics?
I don't know.
It's
Can we make
crazy.
a complaint? I should really make some problem about that, right? I feel
Yes.
discriminated because I can't
It's
run fast
unfair.
enough.
It's like me saying they should put me in a basketball team. It's not going to happen. I can't play basketball.
Well,
So
you're tall enough.
I'm pretty tall. I'm pretty tall. I've got that going for me. So yes, I hope that the woke doesn't continue. And I think if American Eagle doesn't apologize, and if Sydney Sweeney doesn't apologize, we're going to be fine.
Thank you so much, Joe. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show, and I hope you'll come back bringing us news from United States and commentary directly from there. And please say again to our audience where they can find you, and then I'll let you go.
My website is joepags.com, joepags.com. You can go to Unshaken and Unafraid. That's a playlist on YouTube. My name on YouTube, on Instagram, and on X is Joe Talk Show. So if you look up Joe Talk Show in any of those, you'll see a lot of followers. If you're on TikTok, that's my biggest one. I've got over 1 million people on TikTok. That's at Joe Pags, at Joepags. And it is truly an honor to be on with you, Simona. I love it.
Thank you so much, Joe. Such a pleasure. Grazie mille dall'Italia. Joe Pagliaruolo.
Grazie, grazie.